Well, good day, everybody. I'm in East Downtown Albuquerque, and I'm heading to the Special Collections Library. We've had some type-ins there before, but today they are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the library. Well, it became the Special Collections Library in the late 1970s, but before that, it was the main branch of the public library, and my grandparents' house was right across the street. So we spent a lot of time at the library as kids. And as we walk down the sidewalk on Edith Boulevard, the library is right there. And right down the last house, this brick house coming up, was my grandparents' house. A lot of weekends at this house right here. It's on the historic register of historic houses and buildings. Well, it's a busy crowd here today, and look what we have right here in the Printing Press Museum. Yes, a good old standard Royal typewriter. This thing might actually be working. Yes, it is working. One of the displays in the library these days that wasn't there when I was a kid was the printing press exhibit. They have a number of presses, some of which are just on exhibit, but they also have some presses that they actually do printing demonstrations. They weren't doing any demonstrations today, but it is very cool to see that. And of course, the Royal typewriter is there as well. They also have a Morgenthaler linotype machine. It's not in working condition, but it's very cool to see. And right next to the printing press room is the Center for the Book. And this room used to be the children's section of the library back when I was a kid, but the Center for the Book now has historic books that date all the way back to the early 16th century. And you could take them off the shelf and hold them and look at them and read them yourself if you can read 16th century Spanish and Latin, that is.
I'm Shauna. I work here at Special Collections Library.
So tell me about today's event.
It's been a splendid turnout for our 100th anniversary. We had a full house for the movie, and now we have a full house for the band that's playing. People are signing our guest book. We're giving out postcards. It's a great party.
Great. Thank you very much. Sure. Well, this library was the main branch of the public library for many years, starting in 1925 up until the late 1970s when the other newer main branch of the public library opened up downtown, and this library then became the Special Collections Library. But when I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house across the street, this was in the 1960s mostly, this was still the main branch of the public library, and we would come down, spend the weekend at our grandparents', and of course just walk right across the street to the library. Spent a lot of time reading books here and sitting at the tables, drawing, sketching, reading, all that. We loved to do that. We also did things like play spy. The idea being you have to wander through the bookshelves and find who is the spy. You have to find the spy. So we had a lot of fun here. The old architecture, this building was designed by Gustav Baumann, who was a pretty famous architect in the Pueblo Revival style of architecture. On the weekends, there would be a lot of traffic noise, and you'd have a lot of wedding parties driving up the street, honking their horns. And my grandparents' house, they had a swing, a suspended swing on the front porch, and we would sit there and late in the day and swing and listen to the church bells a few blocks away. And the crows in the wintertime would come and watch the day settle into dusk. It was a lot of good memories here in this neighborhood, but especially this library was the anchor for this neighborhood. Well, besides having the jazz band during the celebration today, they also premiered the documentary called Special Recollections, the story of the Old Main Library. This documentary was produced by Anthony Della Flora, and he interviewed me for that documentary, and I am featured in it amongst a lot of other people who lived nearby and went to the library and worked at the library over the years. So I'll leave a link down below for you to watch that documentary if you're interested. I think it's really important that we recollect these special places in our communities that libraries are. Well, it's always great coming back down to this old neighborhood, seeing the old house there that I spent many weekends at. And of course, we do visit the Special Collections Library at least once a year because of type-ins that we have here. And the staff are always very friendly. Shauna especially is such a great help to us for our type-in events. So I'm going to head back home. But this was a lot of reminiscing, and it's great seeing the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the old historic library. And it reminds me that libraries are so important to communities, not only because of being able to read, but they become the centers of neighborhoods and communities. So you should go to your library if you haven't done so recently. As always, stay creative and have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye for now.